There is one subject I have consistently refused to speak on. People have begged me in private, please, Sheikh, we are in private, please, Sheikh, speak to me and explain to me the relationship between Russia and Israel. And I have said, no, I'm not going to talk on that subject. But today, praise be to Allah, I can speak on that subject for the first time. The Qur'an says that they plan their plans, and Allah plans His plans, and Allah is the best to plan. So in 2014, they were able to celebrate. We've pulled off the best of all color revolutions. There's never been a success like this with a color revolution. We're able to change the government of Ukraine from a government which was friendly to Russia to a government which was hostile to Russia. And they did it with a color revolution. They spent billions, I believe, to bring about this change of government in Ukraine. And they celebrated, oh yes, they celebrated in 2014. But no sooner had they begun their celebrations than Allah's plan began to take effect, and their planning began to backfire. And from 2014 to today, the plan is backfiring on them. And in this video, I want to share with you that information. The first thing that happened after the color revolution of 2014 was that Russia was successful in reclaiming Crimea as Russian territory. When Crimea returned to Russia, I was in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and I said it's time for me to celebrate, because whosoever controls Crimea controls the Black Sea. And the Black Sea is in the Quran. The Quran speaks in Surah Al-Kahf of Aynun Hamiyah. And the commentator of the Quran, Ibn Kathir, he said that's the Black Sea. Whoever controls Crimea commands the Black Sea. And so it was 639, almost 10 years ago. I said that when Allah spoke of Zulkarnain, an event which will occur twice in history, 2 generations, 2 people, Allah was not speaking about 2 horns, and He was not talking about any Alexander or Cyrus or Darius. No. When He spoke of Zulkarnain, He was speaking about an event which will occur twice in history. And the first one is already explained in the Quran, and in that first one, the Black Sea is present. And I argued 10 years ago that when the second Qarn of Qarnain is to take place, the world will see events emerging in the Black Sea, and this is what happened in 2014, but this is not my subject today. For those of you who have been listening to me, and for those of you who can have the capacity to think, you are able to understand what is happening for the last 10 years with the Black Sea as the focus of your research. Now then, this was the first backfiring of the plan, that they lost Crimea. And then came the second part, where that part of Ukraine, which was Russian-speaking, bordering Russia, refused to accept a new government which was hostile to Russia and which was brought about bogusly with a color revolution. And so then Ukraine began to oppress these people and wage bogus war on them. And for 7 years this bloodshed continued until Russia said enough is enough. You're now planning to join NATO and you're planning to wage war on Russia? That's enough. And Russia intervened. And these parts of Ukraine which were Russian people then voted to join Russia. And so the plan backfired even more. But for our topic, what is important is that prior to 2014, Russia still hoped that there was some way they could build an equation with Europe and with the United States and Britain and find some way to live and let live. This was Russia's innocence, political innocence, economic innocence, monetary innocence, military innocence. But then, since Russia intervened militarily in Ukraine 2 years ago, tide has changed. And Russia is no longer living in that state of pathetic innocence. Russia has realized that this is our enemy. The Western world and NATO are implacably hostile to Russia, and that will not change. And when Russia woke up to this realization that there could never be an equation, then Russia started to look to the rest of the world. And the Russian-Iranian alliance emerged so quickly and easily. And an alliance between Russia and Iran is bad news for Israel. And so the alliance between Russia and Iran was the beginning of the awakening of Russia to what is the real status and reality of the state of Israel. And over this time that the war has been being waged in Ukraine, and the Western world is waging diplomatic war, political war, economic war, sanctions, everything, they're throwing everything at Russia. In these 2 years, Russia is changing her foreign policy. That innocence, that pathetic innocence has now given way to realism in foreign policy, and Russia is now drawing much closer and closer to the world of Islam. But more importantly, Russia's eyes are becoming open, and Russia is now seeing Israel as an oppressor without any shadow of a doubt. So Russia 2 years ago and Russia today are not the same. Russia's relationship with Israel has changed dramatically in these 2 years that war is being waged in Ukraine. And when the Islamic Alliance launched the attack on Israel, and then Israel responded with genocide, now look at what has happened. They planned their plans, and Allah planned His plans. And Allah is the best of planners, that Israel can now recognize that Russia is now hostile to Israel.